Hello, and welcome to Recent Activity, your new favorite entertainment review podcast that attempts to cover every film, every show, all at once. I am your co-host, Andrew Morgan. With me, as always, is a man whose New Year's resolution is getting adopted by the Von Erichs, Mr. Shane Beauregard. How are you, sir? Happy New Year.
I don't know if I want in that family, but Happy New Year to you too. And yes, we are covering everything this week.
Yeah, it's so funny because I don't know if when you looked at the huge amount of movies, which by the way, people, we're covering 18 movies. We did a giant dump during the Christmas quarter. We also added a week off because Shane's voice was gone, for lack of a better term. He tried to fight through, buddy, but I wouldn't let you. That's on me.
I know.
But did you notice there's like fun parallels? I almost wanted to do a Battle Royale episode where it was like the Iron Claw versus Aquaman, because there also is a guy who keeps losing a claw. So it's like the Iron Claw versus the guy who loses a claw. And then it's like Rye Lane versus Anyone But You as the rom-com battle. And then I probably have multiple other ones in here, but I was just like, yeah, let's fucking do it. But good. Did you have a good New Year? Did you have a good holiday? All that?
Yeah, besides being sick for 3 weeks. But no, it was good. The kids had a good time. And as you saw, we got to watch a lot of movies. So much so I just ran out of stuff to watch.
Yeah, give the people the report. Shane and I have this arbitrary number. I think, did you adopt my arbitrary number, or did you have that also as like a goal
I had
thing?
that also in my head.
Okay.
Of a realistic number I thought I can get to.
Right. And it's so weird because, again, I tried to explain the number I was hitting to somebody else. The number is 130 for movies of 2023. I try to hit.
It's not shows. That doesn't include shows.
Doesn't include shows. Doesn't include movies that came out in 2022. It's all 2023 releases. And someone was like, why 130? And I was like, really all I got is that I think it was either 2019 or 2020, somewhere around there. That was like the high number, like the highest I've hit in a long time, because I was like doing the podcasting full time and I was doing other stuff. And I was like, that's a number that seems obtainable and whatever. And I was like, I want to keep hitting that number every year. So that's how I landed at 130. So I don't know where your brain landed on that, whether you got close to that 1 year or hit that 1 year and kept it going too.
Yeah, no, I got close to it last year, and this year my goal is 150, you know, but yeah, that was my original goal. But as the movie year kind of like slogged on when we hit that slow patch, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get to 150.
Yeah.
I need to readjust my goal.
Yeah.
So I thought 130 was within reach, and we both got there like the very last couple days before we flipped into 2024. So we both made it, buddy.
Yeah, I'm proud of both of us. It's been an interesting, hard, struggling, kind of weird year for us. Also with the strikes moving stuff out, I think that also hurt the number getting there early. And also as far as like Oscar stuff that's going to come out, there's a bunch of movies that haven't been either here in Connecticut yet or have yet to been released wide in general. So there's a bunch of movies that are, quote, going to be 2023 movies that I still am going to watch in 2024. So that number is going to just keep going up. So whatever it works out, it works out. But we are at a good number right now. And what are we looking at? Probably next 2 weeks are going to be our top fives of the year, with probably a bunch of honorable mentions.
I'm looking forward to that too.
Because we cheat. We always cheat. I cheat more than you, I will be honest. So we'll see how that goes. But, you know, we need to see all the movies to get there. So I think we did a good job of getting to that. So let's get to those movies. We're playing the game of we have three categories: the good, the bad, and the meh of the December review dash that we went through this last period. So let's get to the good first. So I want to start up on the good note. You were like, let's end on a good note. I think it's good either way, but I wanted to take the excitement of what we watched, all this stuff. And the good news, folks, is that most of these movies are in the goods, in the good section. So buckle up. There's a lot. And take notes if you haven't seen these movies, and then put them on your watch list or go out to the theaters. Because that's the thing, Shane. We did a lot of legwork because we were in the movie theaters for most of these.
Yes.
So if you're looking at the box office, we attributed to all of it. So congratulations to everybody except Wonka. Fuck off. I don't care. I just don't care. I abstained. If it hits across someday, I already told I didn't really have to tell my kids, but I wanted to kind of be like, nope, it's off the table. Off the table until you see the real Willy Wonka first. Nope, I don't give a shit. So anyway, now that I put my terrible parenting out front, let's start out with some other terrible parenting right up front with The Iron Claw.
Oh, boy.
Directed by Sean Durkin, starring Zac Efron, Jeremy Allen White, Holt McElhaney, who I think might be a Shane All-Star. I think you love Holt McElhaney. Maura Tierney and Harris Dickinson. This is, of course, the true story, or based on the true story as much as they could without making us all insufferably sad, of the inseparable Von Erich brothers who made history in the intensely competitive world of professional wrestling in the early 1980s. Through tragedy and triumph under the shadow of their domineering father and coach, the brothers seek larger-than-life immortality on the biggest stage in sports. Shane, this was one that both you and I really kind of circled as like, this has potential to be one of our favorites of the year because we just love the story. We're old school wrestling fans, et cetera, et cetera. Let's start with you, man. What were your feelings on The Iron Claw after you caught this one? It's a tough sit at times.
It's a tough sit because it's not the most uplifting movie at all. If you just read the synopsis, it's just not. It's just an American tragedy that happens within this family.
Absolutely.
And I'll just get this off my chest right away before I get into like my real thoughts. One of my pet peeves when I get like when people talk to me about certain movies, like, oh, you're gonna go see The Iron Claw. What's that about? Wrestling? Oh, I don't want to see that. Open your minds, people, because yes, wrestling is a subtext of that movie. It's like a subject of the movie, but it's more about family and mental health, especially in this case, because you had 3 of the brothers who committed suicide, and that's not spoiling anything. That's just go to Wikipedia. It's there.
Oh, and there's more.
If you know anything about the Von Erich family.
Yeah, they cut out a suicide in that family.
They did. They did. But I thought the acting was excellent, even though Zac Efron's human growth hormone jaw kind of took me out of it a little bit.
The haircut's worse. But at least it's like 80s apropos, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah, but the acting was great. I wish we would have saw a little more Jeremy Allen White playing Carrie Von Erich, who growing up, that's the one I saw most of wrestling when I was growing up.
For sure, same.
But this family, again, there was wrestling in here, but man, just the way the father and mother were just angered me throughout this whole movie, man. Like Holt
McElhaney?
What's his name again? Yeah, McElhaney. I do like him. I am a fan of his. But man, I can't imagine being a dad like that. Like he openly tells his kids how he has them ranked and like you can move up or down.
Yeah.
And obviously he ranked his kids in order of success, what I gathered. And the wife, Mary Tierney, was just a house beat wife who just didn't rock the boat at all.
Yeah.
It was like, if you have a problem, go talk to your brother. Like they did no parenting at all.
That was the hardest part. They did no parenting or not a lot of parenting. And when they did parent, they basically shit the bed. They basically made these people feel like trash and made them these ultra competitive, for the love of their parents on top of obviously the fame and the glory and everything else. So it's a tough thing to deal with. And obviously as it unravels, God, there's one scene in particular, and again, not to spoil anything, there's like a confrontation between one of the sons and the father towards the end that it's like, that's the movie right there. That's the big scene.
That's the movie.
That is your end result or whatever. It's right towards the end of the movie. So it's tough. It's tough to deal with.
It's a tough watch, but I think it's worth it. It's does it fall in my top 5? No, but if it does fall in my top 10 of the year. That's how much I really liked it, and I do want to see it again. Yeah. So, but again, people, go see it. Not the most uplifting movie. It does, especially at the end when he has when Kevin Erich has his son. And he's like, I used to have brothers. Man, that whole scene just broke me up. I ain't gonna lie, that broke me up. But on a side note, Harris Dickinson, who played David Von Erich, did you recognize him?
I know him from Triangle of Sadness. He was also in something else that I'm aware of. What is it?
the show that you just talked about, you don't really like, the Murder at the End of the World. He's the guy who died in the first episode.
He is.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he is. You're right. Good call.
Yep.
Yeah, and I like him in that, even though we'll get to the show at some other point, but the show kind of faded out. But like, yeah, I like him a lot in it.
I give this movie a thumbs up. It's a watch for me. Again, I just wish we would have saw a little more Jeremy Allen White, because he really doesn't enter the movie till about 35 minutes into it.
Yeah, they basically made up a lie that's not really part of the true story of that he was in college fighting for the Olympic team. And that never happened because it was during the Cold War era, right, or whatever. Because
I will say the only down part of this movie was the guy who played Ric Flair in this movie was absolutely terrible.
He's getting raked, raked online.
It's terrible. I laughed so hard at the way he portrayed Ric Flair. It was hysterical.
And
man. But
I
anyway.
know Flair's hair is a tough thing to pull off too, as far as like hair and makeup department. It looks odd, and I get it. It's a tough look to pull off. But Jesus, yeah, you're right. Any of my friends have basically two complaints. If you're like hardcore, know the story and all that. A, Ric Flair and the performance of that. B, that Kerry Von Erich was a hulking big dude, and Jeremy Allen White is like 5'7" or something like that. So, even though he did well to like be in condition and pulls off a role and can perform, and it didn't take me out of the movie or anything.
No, it didn't take me out of the movie either.
Harris Dickinson looks much taller, at least than all of them. Even the younger brother looked taller than Efron and Jeremy Allen White, and I don't think that's how that's supposed to go. But whatever, it's fine. But I'm with you. Obviously, we are in the good section, so I do like this movie. I am in that kind of top 10, 12 of the year as well. The only thing holding me back from putting my arms fully around it is just it's too much. And I knew that going in that it's a big story, but I wanted to see how they did it, because after a while it just becomes, here comes the next domino, the next domino, the next domino.
Right.
And I think it does save itself a little at the end, but I think the highlights are, just seeing like the brothers kind of slowly but surely kind of, rally around how bad this is and seeing where it goes. But the heights are really when they're most happy, quite frankly.
Exactly.
But you need that to get to the fall. So good performances. I liked it. But yeah, it's a lot where like if somebody said this isn't going to be in Best Picture or whatever these things, I'd be like, yeah, I understand. Because it's a very tough year to also break in. We'll get to all this stuff and obviously more in our top fives of the year. But yeah, it's very good. It's very, very much worth seeing. I understand the wrestling fan complaints, but it's not enough to like take you out or take you completely off the movie.
Right.
Next movie I have up here is a movie that I already covered on this show, but I wanted you to get it in because I know it's so high on your list. The Holdovers. You caught this on the cock, as the kids are putting it. Love to stream the cock. So obviously this is the new film from Alexander Payne, starring Paul Giamatti and Divide Joined Randolph and newcomer Dominic Sessa. This is about a cranky history teacher at a remote prep school who is forced to remain on campus over the holidays with a troubled student who has no place to go. Sneaky, great movie to watch during the holiday season, of course, because this is during the Christmas break. And it's a movie that I said to you was a movie that I liked. I had some issues, or at least with how maybe it kind of made me feel at times in the movie. But overall, very well done. One of the best films of the year. It's probably still in my, again, top 10 or 12, and a movie that is probably going to be up in the Best Picture race. And as far as those type of movies are concerned, it's probably in my top, 3 or 4. So you said this, you enjoyed a lot as well. You finally caught it.
Yeah, I did. I finally caught it again because I wanted to see it in the theater, but whatever, it just wasn't there anymore. And then again, I saw this on the cock, so I was like, all right, I'm going to watch it. So glad I did. I actually gave this 2 thumbs up when I was like giving my thumbs up to you and whatever, my rankings. I love everything about this movie. I love the feel of this movie. I love the way this movie was shot. I love the acting. Of course, Paul Giamatti, who usually plays like a character actor. Once in a while, he gets a time to shine. In this movie, he shined throughout the whole thing as the cranky, no one likes professor at this prep school. I thought Divine Joy Randolph was fantastic as the cook that stays back, and I loved Dominic Sessa as Angus, who is a kid that is a coming of age story. So again, I love the setting around Christmas. Like you said, this is like a sneaky Christmas movie, man. It's just, it slides right in there. I just love the humor that it had in here, but more than that, I loved Paul Giamatti in this movie, man. I just loved his character and the interaction between him and Angus, and just really Mary Lamb, Divine Joy's character. Yeah. I love the three of them. Anytime they're on screen together, I just loved it. I soaked it up. And I'm a sucker for a coming of age story. And yeah, this may be a little cliche in some areas, but I didn't care, man. I loved this movie. And you'll have to find out if this cracks my top 5, because it might.
Yeah. We'll see, man. I look forward to that. Like I said, I enjoyed this film. This is in the good section, and it is one of the best films of the year. So check that out now that it is on Peacock. Another film that is hotly in the Best Picture race, as well as other Oscar kind of contention and other awards during this award season here at the end of the year and into the new year here. Poor Things, the new film from Yorgos Lanthimos, starring Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo, and many, many others. This is the incredible tale about the fantastical evolution of Bella Baxter, a young woman brought back to life by the brilliant and unorthodox scientist Dr. Goodwin Baxter. This movie is batshit, but on a good level. This is a tough one because this is a movie that has incredibly high critical scores as well as audience scores. It is a movie I liked. Obviously, it's in the good section here, but it is one of those movies because it's kind of through the lens of kind of like a philosophy and sociology as told through the eyes of a grown woman with a child's rapidly developing mind, like kind of going through all the stages of life, kind of like rebirth in her life. Because I don't know if you call it, like in the description, it's kind of there, but basically it's this woman who a scientist took her floating, essentially dead body and reanimated her. But she was pregnant. So he took the infant's brain and put it in the grown woman's head because she was brain dead from the accident that caused her death, and reanimated her. So she has to start basically from scratch, but already with a grown woman's body. So It is insane. However, with a movie like that, though, it kind of, you kind of get what it is, and then it goes on and on and on. It's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's long. Ooh. For a movie that is basically, it didn't have like this engine to it to where like it has like this follow through besides just following her life as it unfolds as she's rapidly developing mentally. So to me, it grew a little tiresome. The first half is definitely the best, but the performances and certain choice selections of dialogue, because I was laughing like a bunch of times in this movie because it is very funny. And there's a lot of like nudity and sex and crazy stuff in this movie that will make you never forget it. That's for sure. And it's very quotable, very memeable. So those type of things are what I'll say to give the thumbs up. But as far as like where it ranks in the like pantheon, like the best picture-esque films, I think it's lower than a bunch of movies that I think are in that contention. I think this makes my top 25 of the year, but doesn't really rise into the higher echelons of the year, which I would thought, like, you know, gotcha. I like weird stuff. You know, that's my bag. Yorgos Lanthimos, you know, The Lobster, all other his crazy movies, you know, I enjoy them. But, you know, this one, it's good. The performances are awesome, especially Ruffalo is fucking nuts. But, yeah, really good movie, but not, like, the best of the year type stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, like, I this never came around to anywhere where I was because I did want to see it. But what you described, if you're into Yorgos films, you know what you're getting. True. Like you said, The Lobster, which I absolutely loved. I love The Favorite. They're just all offbeat, dark comedies, and they're just weird, and they go to different places, and you're like, oh, that's just weird. But so, yeah, I like his, I even like The Killing of a Sacred Deer. So those are three of his movies that I really enjoyed. So I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, so I think you'll like it on some level because you're used to his mania, his brand of crazy. But I would say the favorite to me is more my favorite, my personal choice of like what I think his best of is, and I don't think this rises to there, only because I thought the favorite had a better through line and a better dynamic. So, but this one definitely has the chops. The cinematography is great. The production design is great. Like, so all that stuff is awesome. Willem Dafoe, very underrated. I know Ruffalo's been getting more love in the best supporting than him, but I think it should be dead heat, quite frankly. So, good movie. Definitely worth checking out while it's still out in theaters. It's not making any money. So if you want to see it fast, because it might not stay there because they'll probably want to get onto streaming to get some buzz before it gets back into the Oscars again. Another Oscar hopeful that I saw, shout out to my meetup group, a movie that I probably wouldn't have seen otherwise, The Color Purple. I was really on the fence about this one. This is directed by Blitz Bazawule, starring Fantasia Barrino, Taraji P. Henson, Danielle Brooks, and Coleman Domingo. This is, of course, based on two sources, essentially, where it's the Alice Walker book, which, of course, Spielberg made into a film back in the mid-'80s, and which also was up for Best Picture back then as well. And then they made it into a musical, and now this is basically a faithful adaptation of that musical to come out now. This is about a woman who faces many hardships in her life, but ultimately finds extraordinary strength and hope in the unbreakable bonds of sisterhood. Yeah, this is obviously a very spiritual movie. Obviously, if you're familiar with the story, you're familiar with the story. But if you're not, it can be harsh at times, as far as like it's, a lot of domestic violence. Yeah, I don't want to get too deep in terms of the hard stuff, but very dramatic. I'd probably say in the first 20 minutes, I didn't know what I was going to do with this movie. I was like, it's all right. Like, I'll get through it and whatever. By the end, I was sold. And because the musical performances got better, the numbers got better, the performances got better, and I was just thoroughly impressed with all those main characters that I listed, those first four, all of them excellent. And obviously got better as you get more accustomed to the story and get deeper and deeper into it and see where it actually goes. Because it doesn't just get you to the hopeful part and then end. It really kind of takes it to another level and then exits on an even greater level at the end. And I'll tell you, Shane, very rarely do I go to a movie where you get multiple applause breaks from the audience in the crowd watching the movie. Like, I was waiting for an actual standing ovation at one point. It was nuts. So it's doing well. It had actually one of the best Christmas Day openings in some time. I think it made like 18 mil in one day, which is good for modern box office. I think it was the best since like 2009 or something, they said. So this movie should be out for a while. It's going to have some legs. And I would think that, like I said, because the performances are so good, that you'll probably see multiple nominations, or at least probably in Best Supporting. It seems to be their best route, with especially someone like Danielle Brooks. Even though, nobody's really mentioned Taraji P. Henson for it, but she's a showstopper in a lot of parts in this movie, and I'm shocked that she's not mentioned. I know she's not the easiest person to deal with, so I hear. So, maybe that kind of knocks her out, but I don't know. That's a shame when you have such a good performance. So yeah, I was shocked at how much I liked this movie, especially liking it more than, say, something like Poor Things. If you put that in front of me, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. But it's the truth. So definitely a recommendation for me there. You weren't able to catch those, obviously. But I would say, when they hit streaming or however you want to put that in, I definitely recommend them as they are in the good section here. Before we get, I want to kind of clear the deck on maybe the last of the last of, say, the Oscar hopefuls, Shane. I want to know, you finally caught up with Maestro, which was part of my double review during the Christmas week back last week, I guess, or 2 weeks ago at this point. We covered on last episode. I recently put out my top 5 Netflix movies of the year, where I put this as the number 1. I'm curious to know what you thought of it, and if you would be mad if it was in Best Picture contention, as it seems it might be.
Will I be mad? I can't say I'd be upset, because I understand it, right? This isn't your typical Shane movie at all, but I gave it a watch because it was on Netflix, and I like Bradley Cooper, and I love Carey Mulligan, and they did not disappoint in their performances. I thought Carey Mulligan, I think she just stole the movie from every scene she was in. I like Bradley Cooper, but I don't know much about Leonard Bernstein. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I know like the Wikipedia front page of
same.
Of him,
we didn't grow up with that, obviously.
Right. I think his like nasally voice got to me as the movie carried on, because he sounded so just nasally or stuffed up or something. It kind of took me out in parts of Bradley's portrayal of him. But, and I liked, was it Maya Hawke?
Yeah, I thought she stole certain scenes. Her and Sarah Silverman, I thought, were very good as far as the deep bench in this movie.
Yeah, I thought the acting was great. As far as like the movie goes, I thought, and I told you, I thought it had better performances in the movie, though the movie was solid. So I get it. But I don't know what it lacked. I just thought at times I felt sorry for him throughout his life. And it didn't tear me up like it did. You said you like cried twice during the same part of this movie.
Well, I saw it twice and I cried at the same part both times. Which,
right.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
When he's separated from his wife and he's performing in that church, and after he gets done, which is a beautiful performance, because he actually learned conducting for years to do that performance. It's an amazing performance. And then he gets off stage and runs up to her, and he's like crying on her, and it's like this celebratory thing, and it's like just the perfect lines, and it hinges right after that great scene in the restaurant, that lunch scene with Carey Mulligan, basically saying how she basically misses her child, which is how she kind of referred to him. And then it kind of goes right into it, and it's powerful. It's powerful, but
no, it is a powerful scene, and I loved all the musical pieces in here. Obviously, that was like the peak of like you said, it was just probably the best scene, musical scene of the movie when he's conducting that in that church. I did love it. But man, as I'm going through this, I kind of felt sad for him, because he always had to be surrounded by people all the time. Like he never had like a quiet moment in his life. There was like every room he walked into, there's like 10 or 12 people. And I'm like, it got me tired just watching the movie. I'm like, good Lord, I could not live like that.
Yeah.
But kudos to Bradley Cooper, man. Is this A Star Is Born? No. I honestly, that's his other movie he directed. I prefer that one over this one. Would I watch this again? Honestly, probably.
Yeah.
So I gave it a thumbs up. I'm not mad at this movie. It's not usually my cup of tea, but it's a very, very solid watch coming from someone who lives in the gutter as far as movies go.
Yeah. Like I said, this is my favorite as far as covering Netflix all year. If anyone's interested, my top 5 of 2023 Netflix original movies is on whatsonnetflix.com right now. So go check that out if you want to see what the rest of my list entailed. You could probably guess, if you're a longtime listener of this podcast, where they land, because I usually talk about them in some regard on here. But yeah, Maestro, one of my favorite films of the year, and it's got those moments. My thing is, if you make me like either come close to tears or like, you succeeded, and is really doing something special. So, and this movie, like I said, really hit me multiple times. And I think it's just a perfect piece of showing a man who was in between worlds all the time and never comfortable in his position, no matter how great he was, no matter how good he had it, no matter who was there by his side. He always had something where he just couldn't be fully him. And unfortunately, it all comes too late, as, there's a, cancer diagnosis for someone at the end. And then, obviously it's a historical record, but you get what I mean.
Right.
And I felt like he kind of ran out of time a little bit, and it's a struggle. It's tough, and I liked it quite a bit. Let's get through the other thumbs up ones real quick. Rye Lane is a movie that we both caught. This was a Sundance film from earlier in the year, directed by Rain Allen Miller, starring David Johnson and Vivian Opara, about two youngsters reeling from bad breakups who connect over an eventful day in South London. This is on Hulu right now. It's only like 88 minutes or something. It's a breeze of a movie because it's, pretty basic. But, I mean, it is probably one of the better walk and talk romantic comedy sort of things in a long time, probably. I enjoyed this quite a bit. Again, one of those, like, I don't think it lands in my top 25, but it's an excellent year, so there's no shade. But I thought this was a very good movie, and it made me want to look for these people going forward. These two stars, this two-hander for a lot of the movie. And it's kind of this adventure in trying to get over tough relationships and really kind of put your real face on, especially when you're kind of connecting with another person. So what'd you think of it, Shane?
The same thing, man. I didn't know this movie existed till you mentioned you watched it. So, because it never came up on my Hulu homepage, which is where you can watch the film People's Hulu. Right. But no, I watched it. It's a short watch, which is always good for me. But I was drawn to these two characters. They're very charming. You feel what they're going through, the struggle that they go through, but you also feel the connection with them. It's like real chemistry between these two. And it takes place during one day. Like, it just takes place during one day.
A format I also love.
Again, it's a walking, talking movie, like you said. And I love where they end up in this movie. I also love the shout out to Tribe Called Quest in this movie.
Yeah.
Which plays a pivotal scene, which is like my favorite all-time rap group. So, yeah, this is something that I could definitely rewatch several times, given some time between them. Because it is a charming, sweet, romantic comedy, man. I loved it. And I loved the end of this movie. I thought it was funny, too. Like the artist with the teeth and then the sphincters and stuff like that. I was laughing my ass off. So, yeah, man, it's a good, charming movie is all I'll say. It's a good romantic comedy.
And it really sends you off. It's a like you said, a charming ending that's a callback to stuff they were doing. I thought that was very well done, even though it's, it's a little sappy, a little corny, whatever, but I still was, I was in by that point. So that's,
me too.
Also on Hulu, you caught, and I did not, Maggie Moore's. Isn't that on Hulu as well?
It is on Hulu.
This is directed by John Slattery, which I was surprised to see. From Mad Men and 30 Rock fame, starring his former co-star John Hamm, as well as Tina Fey from his 30 Rock days, and Nick Mohammed from Ted Lasso, which I was like, oh, I haven't seen him in anything else. Maybe I should check this out eventually. This is about a police chief who investigates the bizarre murders of two women with the same name and unravels a web of small-town lies. He meets and quickly falls in love for Rita, a nosy neighbor who is eager to help solve the mystery. What'd you think?
I liked it. Again, this popped up on my home screen for Hulu. I love John Hamm. Maybe it's the Fargo effect that we're currently watching, but I've always liked John Hamm. And this is another movie that's like an hour and 35 minutes. I'm a sucker for like small town pulpy murder mystery movies.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what it is. It's just a straightforward murder pulp kind of movie where John Hamm plays a straight up sheriff who does fall for Tina Fey's character, and John Hamm, no spoilers, is like a widower. So he has a hard time like putting himself out there and dating. So he connects with Tina Fey while trying to solve these murders where one woman is murdered and her name is Maggie Moore, and then another one shows up and her name is Maggie Moore. And as the movie unravels, you kind of get the connection. Right. It's just a quirky, small-time film that I love these kind of movies. I'm a sucker for these movies. So it's a very entertaining watch, especially because John Hammond. And you get Nate from, like you said, from Ted Lasso, I haven't seen him in anything else but Ted Lasso. Nope. And he was good. He played like not the dumb deputy, but he kind of played like the, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, I guess, unaware deputy is what I'll say. Like, he just says stuff that's not politically correct.
Sure.
And he does all the wrong things. So, yeah, between him and John Hamm, they played a good pair. So I liked it. It's a good recommend. I give it a thumbs up. Catch it on Hulu, hour and a half. You'll like it.
Yeah, another Hulu one that seemed to make the rounds, and I think you said you saw this, but you saw it a while ago. We didn't cover it on here, I don't think, was No One Will Save You.
Correct.
Yeah, this is directed by Brian Duffield, who I know the name because he, I think, wrote both scripts for the Babysitter movies on Netflix.
Yep.
And he's done a bunch of other things since, of course, but like that's kind of where I first knew him. This is starring Caitlin Dever as an exiled, anxiety-ridden homebody who must battle an alien who found its way into her home. This is, again, well, it's two parts. One, shout out to, again, another movie that's basically like 100 minutes or less. More of them should exist. Thank you for doing streaming right, Hulu, I guess, if we want to put that out there. Also, this is a silent movie. This has no dialogue whatsoever. You see kind of murmurs of maybe people talking behind her back when she's in public, or maybe things in a distance. But essentially, she doesn't say a word through the entire thing. There's some musical cues. There's some alien little blah, 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 stuff going on. But nothing else there. What did you think about this one before I put my vibes out there?
No, like you said, it's been a while, so I kind of like forget certain parts of the movie, but I do like her as an actress. She was in Justified first season, so that's where I know her from.
I thought she was great in that.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Booksmart too. But for a silent movie, I thought it worked. It gives you some good tension. I liked a lot of the scenes in the movie. It's a very sneaky good film for like sci-fi. I won't call it a horror film. It's a sci-fi film. But I know the ending won't hit with a lot of people. And I'm not going to spoil it, but I was okay. I was okay with it.
I was okay with it. I was a little confused. That's why this movie isn't going to be in like my top stuff of the year or whatever. I thought it was good, not great. It's definitely worth the thumbs up in the good section, but I did consider it in the mass section. So it's right on that line because I didn't fully understand what was, going on with the end.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. It kind of fell flat a little bit. Like you said, it was a little confusing. Almost like a bad M. Shyamalan movie where you're expecting like this really...
like a profound ending or some twist. Yeah, it's no.
Yeah, and it kind of just... Yeah, it's not that. But it's worth a watch. So those are my thoughts on this movie. It's a thumbs up for me.
For sure. And then another film that I had you watch, there's a couple of Netflixy ones at the moment here. Blood and Gold. You just caught that one recently at my recommendation because that is my number 5 in my top 5 of the year for Netflix originals. This is a film. I don't know if I mentioned this film on the podcast before. This is from the director of Blood Red Sky, Peter Thorwarth. This is at the end of World War II. A German soldier is looking for his daughter while an SS troop is looking for a Jewish treasure in this very small village town. As I said to you, I was like, to me, it's like a neo-Western in how it kind of ends up, but it definitely has its roots in like kind of the pulpier versions of that genre, like your Inglourious Bastards or Overlord or things of that nature. And it really has a lot of fun. And I thought for anyone who liked Sisu, which I thought was meh, this is the upgraded version to me of Sisu. What'd you think?
Yeah, it's better than Sisu. I'm glad you recommended this film. It did remind me of like a film student who's studying Quentin Tarantino.
I'm mad at it because
the kills. Yeah. No, the kills are very cartoonish at times, kind of like Tarantino overdoes it. Like very pulpy, cartoonish, which I dig. I dig those kind of movies. And you summed it up right. It's like a neo-Western. And I like the characters. You said it picks up once they get to the village is where this movie really kicks off. So it really surprised me how much I like this film. And I told you it's like one of the better Netflix films. And I always feel like I'm disparaging Netflix when I put that disclaimer there.
Yeah, you and Chris always used to do that. Yeah, and I'd be like, do you read my shit? You've been on my podcast when that's all I used to cover, you sons of bitches. Yeah.
But it's true. I mean, for a Netflix original, man, this is one of the best ones you'll see all year, especially if you like that genre of movie. Right. It's not going to disappoint you at all. Like, I like the guy who played the private, who they try to, at the beginning of the movie, they try to do away with. I really liked him in this movie, man. I thought it was a good film.
Yeah.
Doesn't bore you, entertains you. And so this was I think this is one of the last movies I watched.
Yeah.
Before we hit 2024. So, yeah, I'm glad you recommended this one for me.
Yeah, also a very good performance from Alexander Scheer, who was also in Blood Red Sky, who I found kind of annoying in Blood Red Sky. And I think he brought me back by being the villain here and doing a much better job. So shout out to him, shout out to that movie, and shout out again to my article. So go read it. Last couple for the good section here, which, like I said, is the majority of what we're covering today. Bank of Dave. This is not a Netflix original, but it is currently on Netflix, and that's where I watch it. This is directed by Chris Foggin, starring Rory Kinnear, Joel Fry, and Phoebe Dynevor of Bridgerton and Fair Play that just came out on Netflix this year. This is based on true life experiences of Dave Fishwick. Bank of Dave tells the story of how a working-class Burnley man and self-made millionaire fought to set up a community bank. This is just you know what it reminded me of? It has the charm of like a Full Monty without obviously the male nudity or whatever.
Oh, man.
I know, I'm sorry. But it's a literally David and Goliath kind of story. It basically shows all the faults post the recession, the 2008 crash, all that stuff, the banking crisis that we had all over the globe, obviously not just in this country. This is set in England. And, it's really kind of showing how things are done. It's a little guy thing, where even though this guy owns like several, I believe he's a van rental dealership in some regard. Think of it like U-Haul-ish, but he owns multiples of those, is very well off. And he just starts lending money to people, and then people start to trust him more and more, and then they feel like he should become an actual bank because he helps out the people who the banks don't help, and then it kind of proves why the banks aren't as good as they should be and all this stuff. And they set up like these multiple court scenes and kind of showing the banks that they did everything wrong. And then, of course, in typical movie fashion, they have to do a fundraiser to last minute to try to get the bank approved and all this other stuff. Awesome Def Leppard's involved, which is great.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It's very fun. So this movie, like I said, charm all day. I enjoyed myself. And again, not very long. A great true-ish story that will make you feel good. So check it out.
Did they do a car wash for the fundraising?
They didn't. A little more lavish than that to get there.
Okay,
so
all right.
You'll have to check it out. But yeah, Bank of Dave, that's on Netflix right now. And then the last one, because I'm a dad, Shane, you're a dad too. Took my kids to go see Migration, which is the latest DreamWorks animated film. This is directed by
Good for you,
Benjamin Renner and Kylo Holmesy, starring the voice work of Kumail Nanjiani, Elizabeth Banks, Danny DeVito, Awkwafina, Keegan-Michael Key, and more. It's about a family of ducks who try to convince their overprotective father to go on the vacation of a lifetime, essentially go on migration down south. It's a family adventure movie. It's if these weren't ducks and it wasn't animated and you just thought of kind of like a family vacation movie, going through and trying to just survive and go through a bunch. That's exactly what it is. And it's got, again, a lot of it's charming. It's simple, but it's good. It's good enough for me to say thumbs up, man, especially as far as like some of these family movies that we have to slog through, which might end up a few of them in the mass section. But yeah, this one was probably one of the better ones that when everybody who is a parent who asks me what I thought of it, I always say, yeah, I like that. It's a good movie. So I figured I'd put it out here as well. So I think your kids are obviously a little bit older for that. They've moved on to murdering people. So maybe ducks, are less convincing in this regard. But, maybe if they come out with a sequel that turns deadly, you can get your kids to go see it.
You think you're better than me?
No, I just think you're older than me. That's all, man. We're good. But you know who I might be better than? The only movie to enter our bad section, which you need to do your version of, because I covered it last week and I have my own review of it, is Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. This, of course, starring Sophia Boutella, Digimon Hansu, Mikhail Huisman, Charlie Hunnam, and others, when a peaceful settlement on the edge of a distant moon finds itself threatened by the armies of a tyrannical ruling force, a mysterious stranger living amongst its villagers becomes their best hope for survival. Shane, I already put out my my bugaboos about this one in my 2-star review that came out on What's on Netflix. What say you about Rebel Moon?
Oh man, I echo everything you said about this movie. First of all, this movie starts out so freaking slow. I almost shut it off in the first half hour of this film when they're on the farming planet. I'm like, who gives a shit about this? And then when Ed Skrein and the fucking rebel or whatever, the stormtroopers come out from the sky
Nazis.
and
they're
invade
space Nazis.
Space Nazis. Exactly right.
They're literally from the mother world. Come on.
Yeah. It doesn't get any better. The characters aren't fleshed out here. Too many slow-mo shots from Zack Snyder, which usually I like, at least stylistically. Yeah. I don't mind his films. But, man, there's too many of them. And everything was just so derivative of other better sci-fi movies.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you said, to me, it was Star Wars. And it was kind of Dune-ish at times. So go watch those movies.
Yeah. It's also wildly exactly Kurosawa too. It is Seven Samurai. It is, because again, Lucas himself, when he made Star Wars, openly said he was basically taking Seven Samurai, Hidden Fortress, and maybe shades of like Rashomon at times. Like those are the movies that he took for Star Wars. And Snyder was like, cool, I'll do that too. And that, but just do it
in a
shitty.
Totally worse way. Yeah, do a shittier version.
Shitty, obvious version. Yeah.
And I had to laugh because Ed Skrein, who plays one of the head Nazi that comes out from the Motherland ship, and Michael Huisman, who plays like the main farmer, right? I laugh because if you're a Game of Thrones fan, Ed Skrein played Khaleesi's lover boy, who was replaced by and now they're in the same movie.
Hilarious.
So you get a kick out of that. And I love Charles Hunnam.
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam. But again, they kind of, he's Han Solo, and then until he's not, and then so again, very obvious, and his accent in there, woo, yeah. Ooh.
And I had you in my head about the cantina scene in Star Wars, and you know what scene I'm talking about in this movie?
It's exact ripoff.
When they go into the bar, it's exact ripoff.
Especially because it's the meeting scene that they do for Han Solo and Charlie Hunnam's character. It's the same thing. So
so for all you Snyder fans out there, you guys need to get your freaking heads checked because there's no defending this slop fest of a movie, which I see some people coming out defending it and wait for part 2. I don't want to wait for part 2. I don't care about part 2.
I'm so bummed that I'm going to have to cover this. I think it comes out in April. We're like 3 months away. Jesus.
So like, in case you're wondering, Rotten Tomatoes, the critic score is 24%. The audience is like 60 right now. The critics have this one right. I gave this 1 star. Yeah. One star.
Yeah.
So all you Zack Snyder, freaking whatever, fanboys and fangirls, come at me because this movie sucks.
Yeah, it's going to be tough getting to part 2. And yeah, I thought I was being, especially because we do whole stars, holding feet to the fire. This could be a 1.5 from me. But like the thing is, right, because he's stealing from the best people, that at least like there is some good stuff in there somewhere, but it's so few and far between, and it's so stolen that you just go, why bother? What did we do? Why?
Right. And I don't want to watch the 4-hour director's cut. Apparently he has this movie that says he'll change it because if you watch that one, it's rated R. No. I don't. I couldn't sit through 4 hours of this shit. I'm sorry.
There's no way, especially because it's probably going to add to the character development that was absent in here, which if it's to get to the same point, then I wonder why I would do that. So that's really the issue. And I'm sick of that argument now of just watch the longer version. Well, then maybe you shouldn't have made, a movie. You should have made a miniseries and done it differently to develop these things out if you want to keep making 4-hour fucking movies. So,
right.
Everybody's going to get on, and me and whatever else for these things. But I think, like you said, the proof has come out where everybody's kind of kicking this thing. Even 60% for a Snyder movie that like where he has an army, like a legion of people who come to his defense, and it's still only at 60. That's bad. That's real bad.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So
pass.
Yeah, but the good news, everybody, is that's the only bad we have on our list, which is good. But there is a lot of kind of shrug, little meh, little whatever. The first one I'll let Shane defend a little bit more because he wanted to put this in the thumbs up, the good section. So I will say it's close, but it's kind of in that same ballpark as No One Will Save You, but I thought that was a little more entertaining. The film I'm talking about is Anyone But You, which is the last movie of 2023 that I saw. Directed by Will Gluck, starring the extraordinarily hot couple Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell. After an amazing first date, Bea and Ben's fiery attraction turns ice cold until they find themselves unexpectedly reunited at a destination wedding in Australia. So they do what any two mature adults would do, pretend to be a couple. Now, I thought this was such a put on that it kind of took me out a little bit. Like the whole how to get them back together. Like it's one thing where it's like it's the sister of, a person he knows, and then it's the, the other sister of like a friend he knows, like all that stuff, is one thing. But then to also make them kind of trapped in a destination they can't get out of, with also having both their exes, also seemed like just a little far afield. But I was willing to be like, I'll jive, I'll run with it. And for the most part, they're honestly so hot and so good at time. Like I thought it was worth watching to an extent, but it's mostly kind of because I thought tonally it didn't know what it wanted to be, because it sells itself more as a rom-com with more calm, but it's actually way heavier rom, especially towards the end, that I think it just didn't have the tone all the way through that made me like care about it as a full film. How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I get it. This is the only film we really disagreed on, and not even by that much.
Right.
I gave it a thumbs up, so I gave it a pass. I like these two together on screen. That's why I think I gave it a pass. Because I think they do work really well as a pair. And I texted you, and I'm going to keep this PG as best I can. But Sydney Sweeney is fire.
She is.
And she does a lot of things to my pants.
Yeah.
So, but them two together, and you're right. The only negative I would have to say about this movie is it didn't have the comedic punch that I wanted it to have.
Right.
It was definitely more rom, like 80% rom, maybe 20% calm.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't have the standout scene where I kind of like just laughed out loud. There are a couple chuckle moments.
The guy holding his penis and making the penis jokes, that's pretty close. Yeah.
And Gaeta, I liked him in this movie. I thought him and the whole dog thing was pretty funny. Dermot Mulroney as the dad, I thought was really good in the scenes. I thought the parents worked well in this movie. To me, it's just very watchable, and it is paint by numbers romantic comedy. But it's the Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney effect for me. You get two really good looking people that are together, and it's like, really? But you know who I felt bad for during this film, and I was like, man, they really shit on this guy, is the fiance they flew up to Australia to hook up. You didn't see him after a while. I was like, man, they flew this guy up to Australia, and he has like no shot.
Yeah.
And I was like, who would do that to this guy?
Messed up.
I felt bad for that. I felt really bad for that character. At least the other one was Australian, and she was there already. She lived there. You know what I mean? But yeah. So I gave this a pass. I had a good time with this movie. If it was on cable or it came to Netflix, I'd watch it again in a heartbeat.
See, this is the thing. It's not making a ton of money right now. But because it's a Sony movie, it will end up on Netflix in its first window after PVOD or whatever. That's when people are going to go crazy for this movie. And I think if they time it right, they could probably get it for Valentine's Day, and it will blow the fuck up.
Oh, it'll be the number one movie on Netflix that week.
Oh, huge.
Without a doubt.
So that's ultimately where it's going to belong, and that's where its life should go. It's fine. So, like I said, we're in the meh section, so it's meh for me. So, next meh movie. It's the end of the DCEU, Shane. This is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. Director James Wan coming back with Jason Momoa, Patrick Wilson, and now Black Manta, played by Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. In this movie, Black Manta seeks revenge on Aquaman for his father's death. Wielding the Black Trident's power, he becomes a formidable foe, To defend Atlantis, Aquaman forges an alliance with his imprisoned brother. They must protect the kingdom. Shane, I'll let you go at this one first. Yeah, what did you think of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom?
Here's what I'll say about this movie, right? First of all, and I think I told you, Patrick Wilson and me stole this movie as Orm, as a straight-up, stand-up, straight-laced guy to Jason Momoa's crazy, sarcastic character. I thought he did a really good job in this movie. I thought the movie was entertaining, and that's what I want. Plot-wise, you can see where this is going. I thought Black Man, again, by the end of the movie, was just a throwaway character. And they built this whole movie on top of him. I thought just kind of dissolved really quickly by the end of this movie. But I like the different set pieces that Momoa and Wilson were going to throughout this movie. It's a quick-paced movie. It was like 2 hours, which it should be, right? A 2-hour quick movie. Hey, listen, you want Momoa? Hey, you want to ride a motorcycle around and do donuts in front of your son? Sure, go ahead and ride a motorcycle. Like, it got a little outlandish. And yes, I am tired of his little whatever laugh he does or yell he does, which he did like 4 times during this movie. I'm like, all right, I could do without that. Like, just do it once. Yeah. Amanda Heard was in this movie more than I thought based on what I heard before this movie came out. Like, they cut all her scenes out. No, she played she was in some like big scenes in this movie.
To the very end, yeah.
Yeah, and I totally forgot Dolph Lundgren was in the first Aquaman, so I like seeing him. It just was a nice, entertaining action film, and that's all I want to be entertained. But it wasn't meh because of the story. I do like Momoa as Aquaman, but I love Patrick Wilson more as Orm in this movie. It was fine. I didn't stay for the post-credit scene because I heard it was just dumb as hell.
I didn't even know there was one.
So,
yeah.
There was. It had to do with the whole cockroach that he made Orm eat in the jungle. They kind of replayed that joke later, whatever. Okay. And he pulls the whole I am Aquaman, which, whatever.
Yes, the Iron Man clear rip.
It's the Iron Man thing, right? Yeah, clear rip off. But it was fine, dude. It was okay.
Yeah, I'm in the...
It was better. I'm sorry. It was better than Shazam Fury of the Gods. I'd rather watch this again, to be honest with you.
True. Especially because, for how much, I don't know. They both have villain problems. There's story problems, all that. But yeah, this one, you're right. The best part is the Momoa and Patrick Wilson stuff. And weirdly enough, a lot of their scenes are out of water. So, their best stuff. So it's weird that I would say that Aquaman's best stuff is out of the water, but it is. I thought it had shades of, kind of 70s sci-fi or, action movies where it felt like almost Flash Gordon-y or Land of the Lost-y at times because it had, weird monsters that they're fighting and stuff where I thought that's where, it gets goofier where it's fun. And that's when I was in. But the minute they try to do the fantasy elements in the plot, my eyes glazed over. I just didn't care. It just it tried to be, I don't know, Lord of the Ringsy or even Thor Dark World. There's some just dumb, obviously it's a frozen in time land from long ago. I don't care. I don't care. Black Manta, I thought his outfit was cool. Him looking like underwater dead mouse, that DJ. I thought that was pretty good. Outside of that, whatever. And the black trident stuff where it kind of is this ping pong of who has to overcome the evil juju. I don't care. But like I said, when it's ripping and roaring with those two guys and having fun, I'm in. But the rest of it, I can give a crap. And things the Amber Heard thing didn't distract for me at all. The fact I still laughed at Nicole Kidman's thing in this series, like you said, the whole Dolph thing, all these other people. I was like, why are you here? Just bail. Come on, just be done with it. But yeah, so yeah, that's why this one's a meh. It has moments. It could have been worse, and it is possibly better than other DCU stuff from the year, but yeah, not by much. And for a movie that I basically had no interest in, the fact that I got something out of it is what makes it a meh instead of a blech.
Yeah. Proud of you, bud.
Yeah, thanks, man. Next movie is what was supposed to be a more hopeful Oscar contender, is Michael Mann's Ferrari, which stars Adam Driver, Penelope Cruz, and Shailene Woodley. Shout out to Aaron Rodgers. So that's kind of the love triangle-ish type of thing in here. This is a movie obviously about Enzo Ferrari, and I like that they did it in more of a portion of his life. It wasn't like a full out like cradle to grave biopic here. It does put him at a very interesting situation in his life where he's living after the death of his son, and he's also trying to, he's in a predicament with his particular business where he has to win to really kind of put his business back on the map, and otherwise he's going to go under. So he's kind of in this interesting part of his life that they examine. And of course, he's also started a new family with a new son and a mistress, however it works. Did you see that Michael Mann did not want to put the label mistress on her? That because like he basically just started a whole new family. So he was like, no, she's just the head of the household in the other family he started. Yep. Okay. Most people would call that still a mistress, but I understand because it's so many years and so involved. You like mistress undersells it. That's for sure. But for a movie that starts out with Penelope Cruz basically shooting at Enzo Ferrari, like within the first, 15, 20 minutes, it'll wake you up. So it definitely has some highs. The performances are quite good. It's also an interesting movie when you're having an American, a Spanish woman, two non-Italian Americans playing Italians alongside a Spanish woman playing his Italian wife. So it kind of, it could have been a disaster, but I think the performances are still good enough to keep me engaged and enjoy it. In fact, I thought Driver and Cruz specifically were very good. And there's the racing scenes in here are pretty good too. There's a tragedy that happens late in the film that will stick with me just from like a historical perspective that this actually happened. Though, some of the CGI in here might be throw you off a little bit. But when I saw that in real time watching the movie, I literally, whoa! Like it caught me. And it is crazy to watch, but this is where I thought the movie was a little unfocused, or I just didn't fully care. I don't know. I just didn't feel as invested. And I don't know if I could put my finger on exactly why, but I just didn't feel like any person's, especially in a post Ford versus Ferrari. I know they're not the same for same, obviously. But I really liked Ford versus Ferrari, and I thought it kind of maybe took some of the luster out of it, where I'm like, because those racing scenes are really good, and a lot of it is more racing focused than people focused. And this one, for being so people focused, there are scenes that I like and performances I like, but the movie itself I didn't fully grasp onto. Where'd you land with it?
Another biopic that I thought the performances outpaced the movie.
Yeah.
I thought the movie was okay, right? So I have a client who's really into racing, who like knows the backstory to all this crap, right? Like collects rally cars and all that shit. So at the end of the movie, I text him. I was like, man, it's not what you think it is. There's very little racing in this movie till you get to like the end of the movie, right? Where he has to save his company. So if you're looking for like a racing movie, this is not for you. This is not for you. It's a character movie. And I thought the disconnect I felt this movie, and this is the way I felt. I know you were trying to like describe it. It had no emotion in this movie for me. There was no emotion for me to like to latch onto, because I don't know if he was like this in real life, but Enzo Ferrari had no emotion ever at all. There was a scene at the beginning of the movie where we had one of his racers go around a track and this tragedy happens, and nothing.
He's on to the next. See you on Monday.
On to the next driver, right?
He's a Bill Belichick press conference of a human being.
And that's the way he was throughout the whole movie. So there's like no emotional punch to this movie at all. It's just a straightforward him like struggling with the whole family dynamic with his wife running this company, like doing the finances and the books, because all he cared about was the racing aspect. That's why he had to win the race. So I would have liked to see a little more of like, they mentioned Ford, his meeting with Ford. And I know we did that in Ford versus Ferrari, but I would have liked to seen like maybe a shorter scene of that in there, because he did try to save his company with the Ford aspect. For sure. And they mentioned when Fiat, I think it was Fiat that came in there. It was like, if you needed financial help, come see. I wanted to see a little more of that in this movie. than the whole family aspect. Cause I kind of was like, Penelope Cruz was fire every time she was on the screen. Yeah. Man. Like you said, she was like shooting pistols and, she was all over the place. I like the actress who played his mom too, the old lady. Yeah. So if you're looking for a racing movie or any insights on how he really saved his company and the story behind that, this is not a movie for you. But it was a watchable movie, and I did look it up because that tragedy you speak of at the end, I was like, holy shit. And I looked it up on Wikipedia, and it's exactly how it happened. I'm like, oh my God.
That's terrifying.
And again, really no emotion.
No.
At all.
No.
And shout out to Patrick Dempsey, who's in this movie as well, who actually does drive race cars. So,
is that right? Okay, I was wondering the connection.
Him and Jason Priestley are race those style of cars.
Interesting.
They do open wheel indie stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it was cool to see him in this movie. For a Michael Mann film, it's not your typical Michael Mann film. Stylistically, you kind of see his touch on this film.
Yeah,
but,
and stretches.
It's watchable.
Yeah, it's more reserved
it
for
does.
him. Yeah.
I wanted to give it a thumbs up, but it did lack for me to latch onto any character because I really didn't care about anyone in this movie at all. They try to make you care about that young Italian racer that comes in to take the seat of the other guy.
But they didn't give enough screen time to care.
No, they didn't. They tried, but they didn't, right? It was just okay. I was a little disappointed because, like you said, I heard Oscar buzz when this movie came out. I was like, oh, this is not an Oscar movie at all. Maybe performance-wise, Penelope Cruz, maybe.
Yeah.
It was fine. Like you said, typical Mann movie.
Also, in my diatribe earlier in the episode where I said we could do like a battle royale, this was going to go against Iron Claw, possibly 2, as the wrong kid died section. Because I almost turned into like Leonardo DiCaprio, that meme where he's like pointing at the screen when the mother literally said like wrong kid died. And I was like, yeah, they Dewey Cox this shit. Yeah. But all right, Shane, we're in the nitty gritty here. We got 3 left. This is another history one for the books. This is The Boys in the Boat. This is directed by George Clooney, starring Joel Edgerton, Colm Turner, Peter Guinness, and others here. This is, like I said, it's based on a true story of the 1930s set movie centered on the University of Washington's rowing team from their Depression-era beginnings to winning gold at the 1936 Berlin Olympics. This movie... I think I don't know if I said this to you or somebody else, but I was like, I don't know what George Clooney's fascination is with old-timey sports. I feel like the next one he's going to do is like a curling tournament or something from like the 1950s or something. Like he did Leatherheads, where it's like he's doing old-timey football. He's now doing old-timey rowing. Like, I don't know. He just feels like a classic period, but I did have some, I wanted to watch this movie because I was interested in the history of it. Same way kind of watching Ferrari, where I wanted to know a little more about Enzo Ferrari and his life and all those things, which is a lot of things that I didn't know about in that even after seeing Ford versus Ferrari. And this movie I thought is good, but simple. It's basically following the one main kind of boy character. They try to flesh it out and try to give some other characters a little depth, but not enough for sure. But Colm Turner's character is the one that they try to flesh out the most, Joe. But it's only to really put you in the time period, essentially, because when it comes to rowing, everybody's supposed to be equal, to make things work. And I thought I actually got a little bit of an education on how rowing actually works, or crew actually works, an 8-man boat race. But outside of that, it's really hard to make theatrical. Did you find that at all? Especially with like the races that were you like compelled about like, like, oh, it's going to be close. Oh, like the only time I felt a little bit of a jolt was when they were in the Olympics and they started terribly out the gate because they couldn't hear the starting gun. That was it.
Right.
Like, otherwise I was like, yeah, I know how this is going to go, because it's historical record. So I don't know. It was one of those like cool, didn't, overly bore me, but I could have probably written this without not really knowing the story. You kind of see where everything's going. It's a very standard, basic sports film.
it's your standard sports cliche underdog movie.
Yep.
You got these poor kids rowing against the rich kids with a coach who needs to win, puts the underdogs in the shell, and everything is paint by numbers. Yep. I didn't care about Joe at all.
There's not much
like
to
you said,
him.
It's hard to flesh out, like give these characters any kind of depth, to be honest with you, because there's an 8-man crew and, you can't spend a lot of time with each character. But it lacked those, for sports movies, it lacked like the fiery speech by the freaking coach. It lacked like the big training montage of these boys. I mean, we saw them in their bed rolling it. Like, who cares? Like, give me a training montage scene in a sports movie, right? That's what I want. I want like some damn Karate Kid or some Rocky training montage. Yeah. Or even like the Mighty Ducks had a better training montage in this movie. Because it's coming. The only reservation I had, I think, was like, I know, because you knew they were going to win. Like when they were in the Olympics,
it's literally in the plot start, I'm like,
okay. Yeah, they'll pull away in the last hunt. And they did. They waited till the last hunt. It was a photo finish. Was it a photo finish in real life? I doubt it. But for movie effects, they gave it a photo finish,
way,
right?
Have you ever had a photo finish where you're literally watching the photo be developed?
No.
Did we really need that? Did we? Right. The only thing I was like, are we seeing that because we want to make sure that no one doctored the photo? Like, what is the point here? But I was like, good God, every detail. Jesus.
Yeah, because I thought for a split second, because I didn't read the Wikipedia and how this finished, I thought maybe they're going to try to rob him because Hitler was in the crowd and obviously it was a pro-Germany crowd. And they put him in the worst lane because they're Americans and all this kind of stuff.
That I found fascinating. That actually kind of woke me up a little bit.
Yeah. So, like, they had a lot to overcome, but they did, and we knew it. Yeah. And it's not a terrible movie. It seems like I'm beating this movie, but it's just an average sports movie, that kind of lacks, again, it kind of lacked that punch. And I love Joel Edgerton. He's like one of my favorite actors going today. And he was just so monotone and unmotivating as the coach, I would say, in this movie. Like, God, like, I don't know. It was okay.
Who's the person who kind of like gave me a rise every time they're on screen? My girl, Courtney Hengler from Cobra Kai as the wife.
Oh, yeah.
Every time she's on screen, she just pops. Especially, I don't know if it's because, again, every lead character in this movie is this unassuming, quiet, dour person that she's the one with only some kind of zip. Her and Hadley Robinson, the girlfriend, like they basically just, I don't even know if these characters exist or if they're like this, but they basically took the opportunity to make the women of this movie to be kind of the upbeat, like rah-rah, little more like energy of the movie for a movie that doesn't have them in very much. But yeah, every time she was on screen, I was like, yeah, it's my girl from Cobra Kai right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Big mom energy. Loved it.
Yeah, exactly. But just an average movie, man. Clooney, just like you said, I don't want to see another sports film set before 1950 that you need to direct, man. Let's get with it.
And not to end on like a lesser note, these were the ones that were probably the closest on the meh to being in bad, probably, but like they were also, it's the holidays, so I'm being forgiving maybe and putting them in meh instead. We have The Family Switch and Silent Night in the Christmas week ramping up movies that we have here, the Battle Royale that I will have to save for the end here, of course. The Family Switch, I don't even need to read the plot because you've heard the plot before. Because if you ever watched Freaky Friday, Vice Versa, 13 going on 30, what are the other ones they said? 17 again?
17 again,
yeah. They literally shouted them all out, and they knew they were doing it. Versus Silent Night, which is another movie that I was like, I could have put in the Battle Royale against No One Will Save You, because it's like the silent movie versus the silent movie. Here's the thing about Silent Night. You didn't see this, right? Or you did?
Silent Night, I did not see.
I can't fully recommend it. It's John Woo, so the action stuff will work enough. But when you have a silent character, and they really go out of their way to make the rest of this film silent, even more than No One Will Save You. You're familiar with the plot of this one as well? I could say it for the people, too. Yeah. So, like, basically, in a drive-by shooting, this gang comes by and a stray bullet kills the son of this man, and he chases them down and ends up getting shot in the throat and can't speak. So that's where you get your silent part of everything in the Silent Night. And he ends up, slowly but surely building himself back up to take revenge against the gangs. And it just kind of it's so John Woo. It's so like over stylized and violent, and it tries to do the last night when he actually finally goes against these guys. You get the kind of like lukewarm Reed redemption stuff, trying to go up the stairs and doing the close cut violent stuff. He's like loaded, he's like armed to the teeth and going after all these guys, taking out a whole gang, even though he's just some dude. And they make it realistic in a sense of like, he trained for it. And then when he screws up because he's just a regular kind of Joe, like, it makes sense, when he screws up. They try to build up another cop who is like supposed to help with the case, kind of involve himself later. Doesn't really work. Especially, it's hard to introduce characters if they don't speak. So they really took it too far, that part. It's one thing to make him not talk, but literally everybody, including they have his wife only text him. So that's why I was saying this movie is borderline bad. But again, the John Woo action and some of the style stuff makes it just above that level, but not by a whole lot. So if you want next holiday season to watch something violent to mix up when you're watching, Christmas Vacations and crying for the billionth time for It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, I'm projecting. Then, you could do, I guess, worse than Silent Night. Is Violent Night probably better? It's different, but is it that much better? Probably not. It's probably only a little bit better. So, choose pick your poison with your violent Christmas experience. But we both watched Family Switch, which, like I said, just felt redundant. But because the family is kind of charming enough that I ended up getting wrapped up in it enough to call it meh. Is that where you landed, or?
Yeah, it's just the cast is so likable. Yeah. Jennifer Garner's so damn likable in this.
Yeah, she's
this
adorable.
Movie. She's adorable, right? Ed Helms, I've always found him to be just okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's okay, right? And the kids, like I don't recognize the actors, Brady Noon and Emma Myers.
Yeah, the daughter I thought I saw her in before. The boy I definitely didn't.
But I like both them too in this movie. But like you said, it's so paint by numbers. It's just ridiculous. But you know what? For a Christmassy kind of movie, and if you're tired of rewatching Freaky Friday, then this movie was not that bad, to be honest with you. Again, it's because it's Jennifer Garner. If it was, I think if it was any other kind of lead actress in this film, I may have not liked it as much. Right. But it's because the whole cast is so likable, and you like all their little subplots and the whole career thing. Like I liked when Garner ate the ice cream and she farted in front of the conference room. I thought that was, I probably laughed out loud the most at that part. But I did like the kid. I like Brady Noon's character probably the most as Wyatt, as the kid who's trying to go to Yale and he's shy and all this kind of stuff. I know it's an uplifting. It's a good family movie. So I'll lay it.
Know who my guy was?
Who?
Matisse Schweighofer from Army of Thieves. The guy who plays the uptight neighbor. Yeah, who does the babysitting, dog sitting.
The dog and the baby. Yeah. Yeah, I like him. He's I
thought
good.
He was great. Like he just proved to me like he could just literally do anything.
Yeah. Now that whole swap between the baby and the dog, they kind of stretched that a little too thin. I'm like, really? Okay. All right. It wasn't Rita Moreno, the fortune teller. Was that her?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Who's 92 by the way, and looks fantastic for 92.
I know, amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, so good, decent family film to watch around Christmas. Absolutely.
Yeah, if they need a poster thing, my two Jewish kids watched it twice. That's all I'll say. Okay? It's that charming that two Jewish kids watched it twice. So, good job for McG making a comeback, I guess, directing this movie.
Good for you, McG.
And to answer your question, though, Emma Myers was in Wednesday. That's what I recognize it from.
Oh, yep. Okay, yep.
Which again, Netflix all around. So congratulations for staying in the club with that one. But yeah, so that'll do it, Shane. We made it through, baby. We did 18 movies. I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as we did. We made it to the end of the year. Congratulations. We, like I said, both hit our numbers, and we have a lot of work to do narrowing it down, paring down our top 5 movies and top 5 films of the year coming up in the next couple of weeks that we will be doing those episodes. Anything else for the people? Anything else you're looking forward to? I know we have a lot, and this is a long episode, so...
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. I'm really looking forward to The Beekeeper with Jason Statham, which comes out January 11th. Yeah. I'll probably, my pants will be tight during that whole movie. Yep. But I am going to, not unfortunately, but I am going to go see Night Swim this week.
Yeah, I thought about it.
With Wyatt, with Wyatt Russell. So I'm going to go check that out Friday night. Yeah,
I'm going to check out Society of the Snow for my review for what's on Netflix. That is going to be in the Best International Feature race for the Oscars. It's already on the short list that they announced, so it's in the sites. I think it might get in for a nomination. For anyone who's old enough to have seen the movie Alive back in the day, this is basically the more Spanish-focused version of that, telling it from a different perspective, and I'm very interested to see what they do with that. And then, like I said, we got our top 5s coming up. Do the right thing. Give us a shout-out to your friends. Spread the word about our podcast. Give us a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get it. And thanks so much for listening. Hope you had a happy new year. We're looking forward to bigger and better things coming up in 2024. So we'll see you next week on Recent Activity.